Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to Beauty I Guess. Today we have Todd Brown with us, and Todd is from Northeastern University. He is an instructor and vice chair of the Department of Pharmacy, Health and Systems Services, and he has MHP after his name and RPH. What do those stand for? Welcome, Todd.
Hi, Master of Health Professions and Registered Pharmacist.
And today we are going to talk about, hang on to your seats, the high prices of medications. Todd, how long have you been in pharmacy?
A long time, 35 years, 40 years.
That's not that long. Did you know when you left high school you were going to do that?
Yeah, I went right from high school to pharmacy school.
There's one in Worcester now. It wasn't there when you were...
No, I went to Northeastern University.
Northeastern, and they still have a... And you teach?
Yes.
All the way from freshman to senior?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Have you been over to the one in the pharmacy school in Worcester?
Yes.
What do you think?
I don't really know too much about it, but I've been over there. They
Yeah.
seem to have a lot of facilities there.
I see those kids
Yeah.
in their short little coats. I see them at UMass, and then they're crossing the street to St. P's. They're just walking right across. Now, Todd, the high prices of medications, this is getting people worse to me and worse. It's not getting better. What's going on? Tell us about that.
So we definitely have an issue with the high cost of medications. We pay more than any other country in the world.
Why is that?
Mainly because we allow drug companies to set the prices of medications. And so drug companies are always looking to get profit, to increase their revenue, as they say, so they can do research to develop the next blockbuster drug. Because it takes a lot of money to develop a drug, and for every one drug that makes it to the market, there's hundreds that never end up making it to the market.
Why is that? They test them and they don't think it's right?
They test it, doesn't work like they planned, it has side effects, it's got other issues. So the drug development process is a very costly process. And so that's one of the reasons why we pay a lot for our medications, but I'm not saying that that's justification for the high cost of drugs.
No.
Because we're getting to the point where people can't afford medication, and so it doesn't matter what we develop, if they can't afford it, it's not going to do any good. So we definitely have to address that issue. And the challenge is to give the pharmaceutical companies enough money to stimulate research for the next new drug, but also to be able to afford those medications.
Yeah, when you have people trying to decide between whether they're going to pay for it or pay their rent or eat, that's insanity.
Right.
So I've heard that, what is it, Todd, that some of them will even, the doctor gives them a prescription for a reason, they'll have it or only take a quarter of it. Have you heard about that too?
Yeah, I've heard reports
That's
of that.
dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's dangerous, yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, people, think they can get away with less, and, as you said, they're deciding whether they should buy their medicine or pay their rent.
I know one time when I went to, a number of times, I was over at one of the CVS's, I'm not going to mention it, but it turned out as a happy ending, but they kept tallying it up and telling me these huge prices, and I knew, wait a minute, 100 something. I'm like, no. So you know what she did? She said, hang on. They had this little card that they can put in there that could kind of like bring the price down. I'm like, now that's more like it. You got to stick by it, though. You got to say, no, go check my file, take that card. What is that card called?
Is it your insurance card?
No, it's something CVS has that they'll put it in to try to, into their computer. Maybe it's just for people in certain...
If you're paying cash, maybe it's like a discount card?
It doesn't make it free.
Right.
But a lot of people on Mass Health, that type of thing, I think they don't understand it, but there's this little card that they can put in, and they can bring it down. Just at least the doable.
Yeah, maybe if it's not covered by insurance.
Right.
Yeah.
But I can't believe it. I heard, who is that guy, that character who, I don't know if he's in jail yet or not. Who's that guy who was trying to raise the price for? What was that?
It was an antibiotic, I believe, or some sort of I can't remember what it was, but he raised it like 1,000 times, 1,000% or 10,000%.
What did he make you think he was going to get away with that?
Well, he got away with that part. He went to jail for something else.
He didn't go to jail because of that?
No.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Because he was this young guy with a real chip on his shoulder, and he's
Yeah.
like, you're never going to get me. And they got him for something else.
They got him for something else. They didn't get him for that, but they got him for something else.
Is he going to get out and try it again?
Probably.
My God.
There's others that are doing that too.
We're talking with Todd Brown from Northeastern University, and Todd is an instructor over there in pharmaceuticals. We're talking about the high price of medications. Through your years, you've probably seen, well, the steady incline, right? And people will come to the desks to pick up their drugs, and they're like, what? How do you handle it? I mean, it's got to be tough for you behind the thing.
It is tough. Nowadays, more people have insurance,
Yeah.
and so more people are covered. But still, when they use up their insurance or when they have to pay a portion, it still ends up being an issue.
Yeah.
If you're having problems supporting your drugs, you should talk to your pharmacist. They can often have recommendations for you for things to consider. For example, there might be alternatives. It might be that your medication isn't covered or is on a very high copay for your insurance, but a similar medication could be covered more or have a lower copay. So they can suggest that. For some medications, it's the same price no matter what strength. So you could get your doctor to prescribe a higher strength and take a half a tablet instead of a whole tablet.
Oh, look at the math in this thing.
There's lots of things. You can, for some people, they can qualify for discounts from the drug company directly.
Yeah.
They can go on the website. There's the coupons that are available on the internet. So there's a lot of different avenues. None of them are foolproof. None of them are perfect. But piecemeal them together, and they can help some people. The best advice I have is to talk to your pharmacist or talk to your doctor if you're having trouble affording your medication.
So I didn't know you can go online. Do you type in the company that makes your,
If you type in the name of the drug,
like AstraZeneca?
right, it'll bring you to the drug company,
Yeah.
and then if they offer coupons, it'll be on the website.
And I know on their commercial on TV, at the very end it says, if you're having trouble
Right,
affording this, AstraZeneca may be able to help you out.
Right.
This isn't
So-
an ad for AstraZeneca. I'm just using as what I've heard. And it's for real.
Well, there's the coupons that anyone can use unless they're covered by federal health insurance. And then there's other discount programs where you have to apply, and if you qualify based upon your income, then the drug company will provide extra discounts to you.
Oh, so, okay, if you share your income with them.
You have to fill out a whole application, but
Okay.
it's based upon income.
So if someone's on Medicare and or Medicaid, they would probably cut them a nice little deal if they have.
Well, if they're on Medicare, Medicaid, that's federal insurance,
Okay.
it's already covered.
All right.
But if they are retired and not working and have a low income,
Yeah.
they might qualify for some of these patient assistance programs, they're called, from the pharmaceutical company.
And Todd's right. When I years ago, I finally figured it out. I got a prescription, and I'm always worried about side effects. It could be the middle of the night, it could be midnight before I take it, and I'm like, I think I'm going to call the pharmacy, and I'll pick the one that's open, right? I say, let me speak with the pharmacist. You get that a lot? Did you go and run into? Yeah. I mean, I'm not the only one who gets
No,
paranoid
no.
about it.
Pharmacists are very accessible,
Yeah.
and they're a great resource, and really you should know your pharmacists, and they should know you. You should be comfortable talking to your pharmacist, because if you don't, you're missing out on a very valuable resource. They can give you personalized information based upon the list of medicines that you take and the conditions you have, versus just reading something that's just generic about that medicine that isn't personalized for your information.
Todd, where did you start out as a pharmacist?
I started out in a couple of community pharmacies,
Yeah.
independent pharmacies, and then ended up back at Northeastern after
And then
a
you
while.
went. How long before you said, I'm going back to Northeastern?
About 10 years.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
What made you decide I really want to be teaching?
I just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Now, your classes at Northeastern, these are kids who are basically living there, and they're still doing this. They're like, okay,
Right, it's full-time, 6-year program,
Yeah.
doctor of pharmacy program.
6 years. Do they have to go to med school
It's 6 years directly out of high school,
at all? Okay.
or some of them already have a bachelor's, and then it's 4 years.
Okay, so you graduate from high school and you want to become a pharmacist. You're looking at 6 years in pharmacy?
Minimum.
Minimum.
We're like one of the few schools left in the country that take people directly out of high school. Most pharmacy schools don't.
Okay.
Most of them you have to have a bachelor's, and then it's 3 or 4 years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So if you want to go to Northeastern, you can say in high school to your counselor, I want to go directly to Northeastern. What about grades? Is that a problem?
You have to be a good student, yeah.
I mean, like straight A's, or can you have some C's?
No, you have to be a very good student.
Serious?
Yeah.
And there's no...
Northeastern's, it's changed a lot. It's very hard to get into. Our criteria for incoming students is kind of right below Ivy League school status.
Wow,
So,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Todd, how can they get a hold of you if they have questions?
They can look me up on the Northeastern University website. Just put in search for faculty and put my name, Todd Brown, and you'll get my email address.
Do you think a lot of the students coming in, they're so young now, I mean, I've got a millennial son, do they really grasp this problem? And it seems to be getting more and more.
As far as drug prices?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're young, so I don't think they necessarily get it all the time.
Yeah.
Although they have family members that deal with it. And that's sometimes part of the reason why they came to pharmacy school is, they had a family member that was sick or,
Yeah.
was helped by a pharmacist or that kind of thing. But they're young, particularly the ones that come directly from high school, the ones that have a bachelor's degree or a little older.
Yeah.
But we get very good students, and
Yeah.
by and large, they do a great job.
Most of them stick with it.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
That's good, because when I go to a pharmacy these days, I'll notice that the pharmacist is usually middle-aged or up, and the young kids are doing the, checkout. And they're very nice. They're very sweet. You can pull up at the window. So-called fast food service, but not always. But, they're as nice as can be.
Those are probably the technicians,
Which ones?
the ones that are checking you out.
What's that mean, private technician?
A pharmacy technician.
Yeah.
So there's pharmacists
Yeah.
and there's pharmacy technicians. Pharmacy technicians work under the supervision
Of the
a
pharmacist.
pharmacist.
So the pharmacist, I'm thinking of my pharmacy, is in control of all these newbies. That's a huge responsibility.
Well, they might not all be new.
Yeah.
They might look young, but, they might have been doing it for a while.
Yeah, they look like
Yeah.
my son's age,
Yeah.
in his 20s. I'm like, do you really know your math? I hope so. Is that, I'm sure that if you want to go into pharmacy school, you have got to be good at two things, science and math. Am I correct?
Yes, but we also want people that are good people,
Yeah.
that can talk to people.
Yeah.
Because the big benefit of a pharmacist is the advice that they give. And so we want people that, are comfortable giving advice. And, we'll teach them how to do it, but they have to be comfortable talking with people also.
Yeah, but I think you cannot mess up with a prescription. You've got to be good
No,
with that.
right.
You're
Yep,
making it right.
yep.
Did it ever, when you first started out, were you nervous when I see they take it and they have a scraper, and you scrape it into like...
Oh, a counting tray.
Yeah, a counting
Yeah,
tray.
yeah.
What, now how does that work?
It's just a tray you put them on and you just count. It's got a little spatula.
Yeah.
And you count by fives.
Yeah.
And you just push them over into this little part of the counting tray that then you can just tilt it and pour it in the bottle.
That's interesting, because I always wondered why are they scraping it, and I'm like, are you counting it? Are you
Yeah.
counting it the whole thing?
Yeah.
Was it hard for you to teach others to do that?
No, that's easy.
No, they got that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They got that.
Yeah, that's
If somebody out there, one of the kids is thinking in high school, I would really like to go to pharmaceutical school, would you recommend they get the bachelor's first, or try to get into Northeastern?
So if you're thinking you want to go to pharmacy school, I would recommend that you talk to a pharmacist,
Okay.
shadow a pharmacist, see what they do, see if it's for you.
Okay.
And then it depends on the person. Like, some of our students that come directly from high school, they do a great job, they're very good, but they're young
Yeah.
and they don't necessarily get that normal college experience because pharmacy school's hard,
Yeah.
and they got to put in a lot of time.
What are the things they have to study besides math and science?
Math and science, chemistry,
Oh.
pharmacology, medicinal chemistry, pharmaceutics, a lot of science.
I would imagine somebody who can make it into WPI, and they're pretty high on that type of, would do very well in pharmaceuticals if they wanted to shift over that way. You got to be up there with those,
Yeah. And there's also pharmacists, you're thinking about pharmacists in a pharmacy.
Yeah.
But anywhere there's medications, there's pharmacists. So in hospitals, and drug companies, they're all over the place. They are basically the medication experts. And so wherever people are using medications, there's apt to be pharmacists there.
We're talking with Todd Brown, Todd Brown, and he he is a pharmacist. He's a teacher at Northeastern University. I noticed at UMass they have their pharmacy right there, the medical center. I see. I don't see it in the other hospitals, but maybe it's because I don't know where to look. I think it's cool. It only started about maybe 10 years ago. Usually we'd have to take our script and go out. Now the doctor just goes into the computer. It goes directly to wherever you tell him to send it.
Right.
Sometimes I notice that the CVS or whoever, Walgreens, whatever, will say, well, we didn't get it. And I'll say, you had to. I sat right there with the doctor. What is that all about?
Well, they could have picked the wrong pharmacy.
Yeah.
Sometimes if there was a problem, if they didn't put all the information in correctly, the prescription might not go through.
Yeah.
So then they'd have to call and get them to send it again.
I know another good thing, too, is to ask your doctor not to be afraid. Is this covered? And, you know, I love the doctors, and they can't always be sure. They'll be honest with me. They'll say, I don't really know. But they can reconnect with the doctor, right?
Right. A lot of what pharmacists do is talk to doctors about what's covered under specific insurances, because pharmacists know because they process those claims.
So it goes from the doctor to the...
So if you are at the doctor's office and your doctor says, I'm not sure if it's covered, say, well, why don't you call my pharmacist while I'm here, and we can work all this out.
Is that okay to say?
Yeah.
All right.
Instead of, after the fact.
Going all the way over there,
Right.
and they say, well, no, it's been denied, so we have to send it back. What's it called, for a referral or second opinion?
We have to send it to the insurance company,
Yeah.
prior authorization.
Prior authorization.
Yeah.
But I picture these people in a suit in an office that don't know much about health at all. Just, oh, no, we're not going to do that. Oh, no. How do they make those decisions? It's crazy.
Insurance companies are supposed to have guidelines on when they'll approve drugs and under medications under what criteria, so on and so forth.
Why is the insulin, Todd, so big? Whoa, there's a big problem with that right now.
Yeah. I mean, insulin's gotten a lot of attention, and it's gone up a lot, probably not that much more than other drugs,
Yeah.
but it's gotten a lot of attention because some people who need insulin need it to live.
Yeah.
And so, they have been very vocal, which I support, and, they've put a lot of attention on the price of insulin. One of the insulin makers now is making a generic version of their brand insulin and selling it for half the price.
Well, what's the difference? I'm always afraid that the generic is not...
Yeah, no, this is the same thing. Comes out of the same manufacturing plant.
But what's
the brand name is on one and the generic name is on the other.
But then why is there a difference in price if it's the same thing?
So the generic one is not covered for insurance. So if you don't have insurance, you can buy the generic one.
Yeah.
And it's half the price as if you paid for the brand one.
I would hate to be a pharmacist with these good people coming, and the pharmacist is a good guy or good gal, and this person comes in and says, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, well, then the pharmacist needs to talk with you and start getting creative, looking at alternatives, talking to your doctor about different options.
Does it happen often?
Oh, yeah, it happens all the time, but you should talk to your pharmacist about it.
The pharmacist is probably, are they schooled? Don't take it personally, just go for what you can get from it. Really?
They should be interested in helping you.
Yeah.
If you go to your pharmacist and they're not interested, then you should find another pharmacist.
It's scary, because I don't like seeing somebody stand there and say, I need my insulin, but I can't afford this. Well, I'll just use half of it?
Yeah. It's definitely an issue that we need to resolve.
What's the worst one that you've seen? Heart medicine? What do you think is the absolute, I mean, they're all, what do you think is the...
Probably the worst is cancer medication.
That's right.
Or, that's probably the worst, because
Yeah.
you stop that,
Yeah.
it's
The
not
chemo
going to be
stuff?
good. Yeah. And some of that chemo medicine is very expensive. Talking, $10,000, $20,000.
I thought that you just go in for your chemo, but you don't
No,
take
there's
any pills.
oral. There's a lot of oral chemo.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
People I've
Yeah.
known have gone to the facility and...
Yeah, there's some intravenous one, but more of the newer ones are oral.
Oral.
Yeah, and very expensive.
Are they less nauseating for the patient?
Yep, and more effective. We've done a lot. Have had a lot of advances in cancer treatment.
So what happens if the person comes to your desk and says, look, I can't afford this, but I need it. Now, what do you say? Okay, let me talk to the doctor? Or
Yeah.
will the doctor listen to the pharmacist?
Yeah, sure. And the doctor will listen to you too if you say, you can't afford it. But a lot of times they don't know till they get to the pharmacy how much the price is. But yeah, hopefully your pharmacist would call the doctor and, say, listen, this patient can't afford it. What are the options? And they can have a discussion, see if there's other options that are equally effective that might be less for the patient.
I've seen people go to the desk to pick up their script and tears. They had no idea. It's like $50. I don't know. I don't know how you do it. That would just rip at my heart. I would you feel a combination of sad and oh, you must feel that anger at these companies.
Yeah, I think pharmacists want to do the best and help patients. So, I think most of them realize just getting mad isn't going to do anything.
No.
But they really tend to try to help, to try to get creative and try to see what the options are.
So you tell the patient, hang on, I'm going to talk with your doctor.
Right.
We're going to see what we can work out.
Right. And man, it might not even be hang on, but come back in a couple of hours, I need to do some investigating and some calling because they might not be able to get the doctor on the phone right away. So
And if the person
it might be leaving a message at the doctor and the doctor calling back and some back and forth. So.
And if the person, let's say they have transportation, can't get back in a couple hours, you'll call them, right?
Sure.
You will call them.
Yeah.
What made you want to become a pharmacist?
I don't have a good answer. I didn't have anyone in my family that was a pharmacist. I just kind of saw it and liked it, and that was it. Yeah.
And you liked it. And 10 years you did it actually in the store at the
I
pharmacy.
worked in community pharmacies, few for 10 years, and then went back.
Then
to
you went back
Northeastern.
to Northeastern.
Yeah.
What are your hours teaching during the day?
I'm there full time, so I'm there.
Gee, all day long, every day of the week?
Well, I'm not teaching all that time. I do other things, but yeah, I'm there. Monday through Friday.
It looks
Unless
like-
I'm off doing this or something else.
Yeah, he came in from Boston today.
Yeah.
Todd, how again can they reach you if they have questions?
So my name's Todd Brown. You can go to Northeastern University website, look up faculty, put my name in, and I'll be there.
Do you ever have any med students, say we got the med school in Worcester, who change their mind and come over to the pharmacy? Or vice versa?
Not med students coming to pharmacy. We do have, on a routine basis, pharmacy students that want to then go on to medical school afterwards.
I would think that'd be amazing.
Yeah. The medical schools, I don't know if they really love that because they want well-rounded people before they go into medical school, as opposed to someone that's focused on pharmacy. But those people, they know a lot about medications, and so that part of medical school is easier for them.
Do our medical students have to literally take a course in pharmaceutical?
They do, but pharmacy students take much more.
They take more, and do they take anything like the medical school? Do the pharmacy students? Anything?
So the pharmacy students are experts in medications. They don't get as much training on diagnosis. They know about conditions, but as far as diagnosis and that thing, that's not their focus. Their focus is medications.
And doctors seem to be pretty good. I'll never figure out how they know exactly how many milligrams to give. Really.
Well, they've probably prescribed it a lot before.
I'll bet you, I think we talked about this before, but as a pharmacist, you are duty bound, right? It's almost like do no harm. But if you see something come in and the doctor goofed, and maybe it's the wrong med or it's something wrong with it, what immediately do you do?
Well, you don't fill it. You don't give it to the patient. You call the prescriber and, communicate with them, let them know what your concerns are. Happens all the time.
All the
All
time?
the time. A pharmacist is kind of the last check before the patient gets their medication.
Sort of like launching the ship up to the moon. You got the last...
Right. A lot of times it's the patient's on another medicine, and there's a dangerous interaction. The prescriber didn't know about it because the patient didn't tell him. There's lots of things that can happen.
I love that part because I know years ago I forgot something, and it was prescribed. And the pharmacy called me personally to say, did you know about this and this? I went, no, I didn't. They said, well, you just hang on, we're going to find out. That is fantastic service.
Yeah. So if you're getting a new medication, and they'll usually ask you, do you have any questions for the pharmacist? Ask the pharmacist to come over and tell you about the medicine.
Yeah, they got those consultation things now.
Right.
And they mean
people,
it.
Most of the time they're in a rush. They just say, no, it's free.
Yeah.
It's expert advice. You should take advantage of it.
Todd, why are they, this is a little bit off the subject, but why in the pharmacies have they taken out those blood pressure machines?
I don't know.
Weren't accurate enough?
I'm not sure.
I'm not either. I used to like it, but I noticed that they seem a little higher than what you are. And
Really?
I don't know, is it because you were racing into shop?
Maybe.
I don't know what it is, but there seems to be a big competition with pharmacies now. Wow. Merging? I don't get that at all.
There's been a lot of mergers, a lot of consolidation.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the healthcare industry and everything else.
Sure, Walmart, you go in, you get a pharmacy there. Target, I think, Target has one.
Target has one. That's CVS now is in Target, right?
I don't know. I know Walmart's
so.
is Walmart's.
Right. Yeah, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of pharmacies that have closed.
Yeah. I know that we right here in this area.
Right.
Fantastic. They were the small town pharmacies. Great people. Gone.
Even a lot of the chains have closed. One chain has bought out another chain.
Why is that? Just the big bucks, right?
Yeah.
The ones that you worked at, did you notice that they went out of business shortly after you left?
No.
They stayed in business?
Yeah.
Are they still there?
Not anymore, no.
No. Then you've got the other people. I was interviewing, I forgot where they're from. They run one of those natural, what do they call based, where they put together...
Compounding?
Yes.
Compounding pharmacy, yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. So compounding pharmacies exist because sometimes what you need is not commercially available.
Yeah.
Either you're allergic to an ingredient or you need a different strength or something like that. Compounding pharmacies can compound that specifically for you.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
And can they work in conjunction with a pharmacist from a regular pharmacy? Or to find out what that person's been taking, or...
Oh, they are pharmacists at the compounding pharmacy.
Okay. And it's legit. It's all legit.
Yeah. They'll take your history, they'll know what you're on, and they'll work with your doctor to compound
I like
to get
it.
the right medicine.
I originally thought it was like voodoo medicine.
Yeah, no.
Todd, this has been great. I came all the way from Northeastern to Boston today. This is great. You got more classes this afternoon?
No, I'm done.
You just
for
got
today.
the day off.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us.
My pleasure.
I know a lot of people out there, myself included, we look at the price of it, we've been like, oh my God. It better not go any higher. What do you think?
It's definitely something that, we have to deal with as a country. It's, being talked about a lot. It's getting a lot of attention.
Yeah.
There's lots of different proposals out there to try to address it. So, I like to stay optimistic and hope that one of them will come through.
A lot of us were seniors in our families, and we've watched our grandparents and everything. Didn't seem like they struggled as much back then with the price.
Yeah, no, the medicines are definitely more expensive now than they have been. They're also a lot better than they have been, but they're much more expensive.
So, okay. Well, that's good to know. Thank you, Todd. We'll see you next time and be my guest.
Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream.